Ryan reached for the keyboard before I could. Zoom in. My hands were shaking so badly that I almost missed the button. The image sharpened. The figure's head was still turned away, but the silver blonde hair was unmistakable. Ryan didn't say a word. Neither did I. We both watched as the person unlocked the interior garage door with a key we had never seen before. Then, the screen froze. A loading symbol appeared. Seconds later, the recording resumed. The figure was gone. "What?" I whispered. Ryan immediately grabbed his phone. "Check the hallway camera." I switched to the second camera. Nothing. The hallway was empty. The timestamp matched perfectly. The garage camera had shown someone unlocking the door, but the hallway camera never showed anyone entering the house. "That doesn't make any sense," Ryan said. I rewound both recordings. Again, the same thing happened. The garage camera showed the figure. The hallway camera showed nothing. Ryan frowned. "Look at the timestamps." I compared them. The garage camera was almost 40 seconds ahead. "How is that possible?" Ryan leaned closer. "They're not synced." We continued watching. 40 seconds later, the hallway camera suddenly skipped ahead. The picture froze for a moment. Then it jumped. Someone had already walked past. Only the edge of a dark coat disappeared around the corner. My stomach dropped. "They interrupted the recording." Ryan nodded slowly. "Not completely." "What do you mean?" "The camera buffered everything until it lost connection." He pointed toward the timeline. "Look." There was a gap, exactly 38 seconds. "Someone disconnected it," he said quietly. I felt cold. "They knew where it was." Ryan looked at me. "I never told anyone." "Neither did I." He swallowed hard. For the first time since this nightmare began, I saw genuine fear in his face. He wasn't defending his mother anymore. He was trying to understand how she had known. Without saying another word, he grabbed his keys. "Where are we going?" "My mother's house." Linda answered the door wearing a sweater and slippers. She smiled the moment she saw Ryan. Then she noticed me. The smile faded. "This is unexpected." Ryan didn't smile back. "We need to talk." She stepped aside automatically and we walked into the living room. The television was on, but nobody was watching it. Linda looked from Ryan to me. "What is this about?" Ryan held up his phone. "We caught someone entering our house tonight." She frowned. "I don't understand." "We have security footage. So call the police." "We might." Her eyes flickered. "But first, I want answers." Linda crossed her arms. "I've answered every question you've asked." "No." Ryan's voice stayed calm. "You've changed your answers every time." She looked offended. "I have not. You told us you never entered our house. You admitted you entered to leave a package. You admitted you still had my garage remote. You told Megan Emily was hiding money." Every sentence made her shoulders sink a little farther. Finally, she sighed. "I was trying to help." Ryan slowly placed his phone on the coffee table. "I have one simple question." She waited. "Have you been photographing us?" For the first time all evening, Linda didn't answer immediately. She looked toward the hallway, then back at Ryan. "What kind of question is that?" "A simple one." "No." Ryan held her gaze. "Then you won't mind showing me your camera." "My camera?" "The DSLR you always bring to family events. I don't even know where it is." Ryan looked around the room. "I do." She frowned. "What?" "You always keep it in the cabinet under the television." Linda's eyes widened. You've kept it there for years." Neither of us moved. Finally, Linda walked toward the cabinet herself. Without saying another word, she opened the door. Inside sat the familiar black camera bag. She hesitated before picking it up. Ryan noticed. "So you did know where it was?" She slowly handed him the bag. "I haven't used it in weeks." Ryan unzipped it. Inside was the camera, 2 memory cards, and the long zoom lens. My heartbeat became louder. Ryan checked the battery. "It was charged 2 days ago." Linda looked away. "I photographed birds." Ryan quietly attached the memory card to the camera and opened the gallery. The first few photos were flowers, birds, trees. Then, me, standing in our kitchen, taken through our window. Another photograph, Ryan carrying groceries. Another. The 2 of us arguing beside the dining table. The exact photograph from the anonymous envelope. Ryan slowly lowered the camera. His face had gone completely pale. "Mom," Linda finally spoke, "I was making sure you were okay." My mouth fell open. "You were spying on us." "No." "You photographed us through our windows." "I wanted to know if she was treating you well." Ryan looked like someone had been punched. "You watched us?" Linda stepped toward him. "I watched her." She pointed directly at me. "I knew something wasn't right." Ryan slowly shook his head. You've been inside our house. I was helping. You unplugged our cameras. I didn't want her spying on me. I stared at her. You knew exactly where the camera was. You put one on the bookshelf. Neither Ryan nor I had ever told anyone where that camera was. The room fell completely silent. Ryan barely whispered, You were inside. Linda's eyes filled with tears. Not the kind that came from guilt. The kind she used whenever she felt herself losing control. I only ever wanted to protect my son. You broke into our home, I said. I have always been welcome. No, Ryan replied quietly. You were trusted. She looked at him as if he had slapped her. Those are the same thing. They're not. Ryan held up the camera. How many times did you photograph us? Linda hesitated. I don't know. Try. She looked toward the window instead of answering. How many times? Maybe 10. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You stood outside our windows and watched us? I was checking on Ryan. You mailed us one of those pictures. I wanted Emily to understand. Understand what? That she was hurting my son. Ryan shook his head. You wrote, he deserves peace. Linda nodded. He does. And you thought this would help? I thought she'd leave. The room went silent. There it was. The truth. Not anger, not revenge. Control. Everything she had done led back to the same thing. She genuinely believed that if I disappeared, Ryan's life would return to the way she wanted it. Ryan slowly sat down. You searched our bedroom. Linda looked away. I was trying to find something. What? Proof. Proof of what? That she was hiding money, or planning to leave you. I stared at her. So you went through our passports? She nodded once. Our tax papers? Another nod. Our insurance documents? I had to know. Ryan covered his face with both hands. You actually convinced yourself that breaking into our house was normal. Linda stepped closer. I did it because I love you. No. He looked up. You did it because you couldn't accept that I have my own life. She froze. For the first time since I had met her, she had no answer. Ryan stood again. Mom. His voice was calm now. Do you still have any key that belongs to our house? Linda didn't hesitate. No. You've already given me everything? Yes. Ryan nodded slowly. Then why did the person in our garage use a different key tonight? Linda's confidence slipped for just a second. I don't know. You don't? No. Ryan studied her face. You've lied to me 3 times tonight. I have not. You said you never entered our house. You admitted you did. You said you returned the garage remote. You admitted you still had it. You said you weren't photographing us. He lifted the camera slightly. We both know that wasn't true. Linda looked toward the front door. I think you should both leave. Ryan didn't move. Mom, I've answered enough questions. She grabbed her handbag from the couch. I don't deserve this. She started walking toward the door. Her hands were shaking. The strap slipped off her shoulder. The handbag hit the hardwood floor. Everything spilled out. Her wallet, lipstick, tissues, a small notebook, then 3 keys slid across the floor. Nobody moved. Ryan slowly bent down. One belonged to Linda's house. One was an old mailbox key. The third made my stomach turn. It was our missing spare key. Ryan picked it up carefully. You lied to me. Linda stared at the floor. I was going to give it back. When? You've had this the entire time. I needed it. No. His voice cracked. You wanted it. Linda finally looked up. I couldn't lose you. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. You didn't lose me. He closed his hand around the key. You pushed me away yourself. Linda reached toward him. He took 1 step backward. She stopped. I don't think anything hurt her more than that. A knock at the front door broke the silence. Ryan's sister Megan walked inside. I came as soon as you called. She looked around the room. What's going on? Ryan silently handed her the camera. She scrolled through the photographs, one after another. Her face slowly changed. Mom. Linda tried to speak. I can explain. Megan looked at another picture, then another. These are through their windows. I was worried. You were spying on them. I was protecting my son. Megan looked at Ryan. You weren't lying. Ryan simply shook his head. I wish I had been. Megan turned back toward Linda. You told me Emily was manipulating everyone. I believed she was. You made me call Ryan. I wanted him to listen. You made me attack his wife. Linda finally lost her composure. I am his mother. Her voice echoed through the house. I changed his diapers. I stayed awake when he was sick. I sacrificed everything for him. And now she gets everything? Ryan stared at her. No, Mom. Emily and Megan both looked at him. This isn't about Emily. He took a slow breath. It's about the fact that you stopped seeing me as an adult. You'll always be my son. I know. And I'll always love you. She looked relieved. Then he continued. But I can't trust you anymore. Those words hit harder than shouting ever could. Linda began crying. Real crying this time. Ryan placed the spare key on the coffee table. I'm changing every lock again. He looked directly at her. And after today, you don't come to our house unless we invite you. She opened her mouth. No, he said. I'm finished listening. The following week felt different. Not because everything was suddenly okay, because for the first time in months, we weren't wondering anymore. We had answers. Ryan copied every photograph from Linda's camera and saved every security recording onto 2 separate hard drives. He also downloaded the camera logs. One entry explained why the garage footage had cut to black. The garage camera had continued recording until someone unplugged it. The battery backup kept it alive for another 38 seconds before the system automatically shut down. It hadn't been a mysterious glitch. Someone had deliberately tried to erase the evidence. They had simply been too late. Ryan sat quietly after reading the report. I defended her for months. I reached for his hand. You didn't know. I should have. A few days later, we met with a lawyer. After reviewing everything, he told us we had enough evidence to pursue legal action. Instead of dragging the family through a long court case, we chose a different path. Linda received a formal legal notice ordering her to stay away from our home. Any future trespassing would immediately involve the police. Ryan also changed every remaining lock, replaced the garage system entirely, and canceled every old access code connected to the house. There would never be another forgotten remote or another spare key. Sarah gave a written statement describing every time she had seen Linda entering our house while we were at work. Megan came over the following weekend. She stood awkwardly on our porch before I opened the door. I owe you an apology. You don't owe me anything. I do. She looked down. I let Mom convince me that you were the problem. You believed someone you trusted. I should have asked questions instead. I nodded. So should Ryan. Ryan walked over beside me. I already apologized. Megan smiled sadly. I know. For the first time in a long while, the conversation felt honest. A month later, Ryan received one final letter from Linda. It wasn't an apology. It was another attempt to explain why everything she had done had been for his own good. Ryan read the first page, then he quietly folded it in half. Without another word, he carried it to the kitchen. I watched him place it inside the recycling bin. You didn't even finish reading it. I already know how it ends. That was the moment I realized something had finally changed. He wasn't choosing between his mother and his wife anymore. He was choosing healthy boundaries. Months passed. The strange incidents never returned. Nothing disappeared. Nothing mysteriously reappeared. Our house finally became ours again. One Saturday morning, while cleaning a drawer in the garage, Ryan found the small notebook that had fallen from Linda's handbag the night everything came apart. Neither of us had opened it until then. Inside were dozens of handwritten notes, dates, times, license plate numbers, when I left for work, when Ryan came home, when packages arrived, even short notes like kitchen argument, garage door open, neighbors outside. Ryan slowly closed the notebook. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, he said, "This isn't love." No, it never was. He carried the notebook outside. Together, we watched every page disappear into the fire pit behind the house. Neither of us smiled, but neither of us looked away. Later that evening, we sat on the back porch watching the sunset. Ryan reached over and squeezed my hand. I'm sorry it took me so long. I know. I'll never ignore your instincts again. And I'll never ignore mine. For the first time since we got married, our house felt quiet. Not because nobody was inside, but because the only people holding the keys were the ones who truly belonged there.